Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, October 11th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I'll do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol WW, did this one in yesterday's top 10 video, drew out this pattern, and you can see earlier today, price came up to the pattern, got the breakout through there, and the rest is history. An absolutely beautiful technical pattern breakout. So congratulations to any of you that watched in that video and took advantage of that breakout. But we'll start afresh here. And really just another kind of a case of deja vu in the sense of the pattern that I talked about yesterday is a pattern here that is once again forming. But that's always a good thing. When you have these patterns forming one after another, that is just telling you that the overall trend is plenty bullish. So in terms of this new pattern, we have the key area of resistance right there. I do realize there was a temporary little spike above there, but then there's just a lot more data points, right? That's nearer towards that red line there. And then the bottom part of the pattern right here. So let me change that to green to represent support and then just make the pattern easier to see. Let's keep it all one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the upwards move right there. So you could call this a bull flag, bull pennant. No need to get into a fist fight in terms of what you call it, because overall the psychology is the same. The psychology being there was a big breakout and now there's some consolidating going on. So is this going to be a situation where all of a sudden the price breaks to the upside? There are no guarantees, but that would certainly be a plausible outcome. So overall, great looking chart. Nice bull flag, bull pennant pattern. So we'll see how it closes out the week on Friday. Next one here, JTAI, absolutely crazy mover today, and definitely a very ugly looking chart right now. But for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly, and the opportunity comes in the sense of the price is actually sitting right down here at these lows where it's been before. So let me get that down right there. So it changes to green for support, and you can see that this was basically the bottom part of this whole move. And it's once again, actually, that's already where it's bounced off once, but it is going sideways at that area. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because it's going sideways at a previous area that it's bounced from does not mean that for sure guaranteed this is the bottom and for sure guaranteed this thing's getting ready to bounce in the upward direction. My point here is it plausible? Is it reasonable to think that maybe this downwards movement is over and that maybe some sort of bounce is going to occur? That is certainly reasonable, but that's also why risk management matters. Because who knows, maybe this thing is getting ready to take another plunge to the downside and you don't want to turn yourself into a bag holder. So this is definitely a situation where if you're not a disciplined trader, I mean, you shouldn't be trading anyways, but you definitely should not be trading these sorts of scenarios. But overall, ugly looking chart, but it is pretty interesting where it went sideways. So let's see if it can get some sort of bounce in the next couple of days. Next one, PLTR, and this thing remains very strong. I thought this thing would pull back a bit more, and it had a slight little pullback this morning, but it quickly recovered and then is once again putting new highs. So I am staying on the call, though, for a pullback, just because we once again have this pattern in play. So there's the resistance part of it. There is the support part of it. And now we have, I would even argue, more so an overarching rising wedge pattern, which is bearish. Now, just because there's a bullish pattern, that does not mean the price is going to go up. Same is true here. Just because it's a bearish pattern does not mean the price is going to go down. But also, as I talked about in yesterday's video, pullback does not mean a crash. It does not mean blood and destruction and dead bodies everywhere. Not at all. In this situation, the price could, I'm not saying this will occur, but the price could pull back all the way down here. And think about what you would still have. Well, you'd have a set of lows right there. You'd have these lows here. You'd have lows even further down than that. If you envision those as stair steps, overall stair steps would still be going in the upwards direction. And again, that assumes a pretty big pullback from there. My only point here is that with the rising wedge pattern, it is suggesting that this thing is probably going to need to take a break, take a breath, and get some sort of pullback. So yes, there, like I said, modest pullback this morning that didn't last very long. But with the pattern now taking that much better shape, I would definitely say, a pullback is coming here sooner than later. Next one, AMD, and brutal day on this one. Not necessarily because it was a big red day, but because the price has now actually broken down below that pink line, which on my chart represents the very well-known, the very famous, very important 200 period moving average. In fact, if I zoom things out some more, I mean, when was the last time? Yeah, last time the price was down below this area, I mean, we are talking about weeks and weeks and weeks ago. So overall, like I said, not a good situation there, and that's also what leads to our first key area of resistance, and that's just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So moving forward, now to be fair, nice last 30 minutes here, a nice hammer candle, but that is, I want to get too excited until the price can prove itself, quote unquote, prove itself, being defined as being able to break above and stay above that 200 period moving average, right now valid at, let's just call it 163.75. In terms of areas of support now moving forward, key level to watch very closely, and let me change that to green for support, would be the bottom part of this consolidation area right there at the 160 mark. And if for some reason that level can't quite hold up, that would be a very bad sign. But then the next key overarching level of support would be down there right around the 158.65 mark. So overall, though, brutal day today. Interesting last 30 minutes with this hammer candle. So we'll see if that can lead to any sort of turnaround on Friday. Next one here, NVIDIA, and these levels that I've talked about still do hold, especially that green line right there. In fact, this morning, that's right where the price bounced off of. So for any of you that watched a previous video and bought either some shares or some call options right there, you got paid very, very nicely. But what I'm going to do is clean this off because like AMD, what I'm seeing here is another rising wedge, which is suggesting that a pullback is going to, be in store here and is going to, be needed. So let me get this pattern in play right there. So there is, again, let me change that to green. There is the rising wedge pattern, and I'm not going to go through everything again, but as I said, remember, pullback does not mean a crash, and that pullbacks can be healthy as long as ultimately they do build that higher base. But overall, like AMD, which would make sense, right? They're both in the same general sector. This one also has a rising wedge, so it's looking like a pullback is going to be needed sooner than later. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to sign up. Now, one special note, it is a genuine live event. So a couple scenarios, maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you totally missed it. That is okay. Send me an email, clay@claycharter.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay of the event. But if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up, and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one here, TSLA, and absolutely brutal opening 30 minutes. Now, I drew this trend line in yesterday's video. You can see the price broke through it, and wow, did that open up the floodgates. But also, wow, what a bounce back upwards. Crazy bounce. Now, late day today, there was this rollback once again, and it is down below this trend line here. So as I stated previously, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So moving forward, if this thing does try to curl back upwards, that'll be the main dynamic now in the near term of the big question of can the price break above it. Even if it does, I wouldn't get overly excited because not that far away from it is the purple line there, the 50 period moving average. But like I said, all things considered, the price being up around this area of the chart, much better than the price still being down there. Who knows, getting even lower than that. So keep an eye on that dynamic from resistance-wise. And then in terms of areas of support, I would say this level down here around 234 going to be a key level to watch moving forward. But I'm most interested in, can this thing curl back up and get above not only that trend line, but the moving average right there? We'll see what happens. Next one, MLGO, and what a very impressive move on this one today. I was going to say green all day long, but that's not quite true because there were some red candles along the way. But in many senses, basically straight up the entire day. Very modest pullbacks. And now this last 30-minute candle here, I will say, this is looking a bit sketchy. Not saying that this means that the chart is crashing right back to where it was, but that candle there certainly is suggesting a bit of a pullback is needing to occur. But to be fair, a candle very similar to it formed right there, and you can see that ultimately the chart did not care about it. But as of like I said, right now, pretty rough candle right here that has formed, but this one has also shown a whole lot of strength. So who knows, maybe it ultimately won't care about that candle. But in terms of areas of resistance moving forward, key level to watch initially is going to be right there at 42 cents. Yes, the price did get above it temporarily, but as already discussed, couldn't quite hold above it. And then you just factor in that this is a general area right there that's had resistance before. So 42 cents going to be a key level. And then in terms of areas of support, if there is a deeper pullback, a level that, in my opinion, would make this chart look the strongest moving forward would be if the price can stay up there above the 35-cent mark. But all in all, crazy mover today. Fantastic volume. Let's see if the momentum carries into Friday. Next one, BLMZ, and I like this one quite a bit just because we have a very well-defined breakout point, and I think a lot of people are going to be watching that level right there at $1.34, $1.35. You can see not once, not twice, but 3 times the price has been rejected. So even if you just want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, because a whole lot of people are watching that level and wondering the same thing, it becomes very valid to think that if the price comes up here and breaks up through it, that fact in and of itself is more than enough to get more people to buy. Because if you have breakout traders and then there's a trader saying, hey, that's breaking out, oh, I'm a breakout trader, I'm supposed to buy, well, then sometimes that's all that's needed to get people to buy into something. So got to think a lot of people are watching that level right there. And then along with that, nice little sign here that the bulls all afternoon long were making progress in the upwards direction. And I realize it's one thing for me to say they were making progress, but that's why I love charts. It allows you to take words and make them visual. So when I say make progress, there you go. We have that uptrending trend line, and you can see the progress it made, all afternoon long. So in technical terms, another way we could look at this is we have ourselves a nice little bullish ascending triangle pattern. So can the price get the break to the upside? Let's see what happens. Next one here, XHG, and as I mentioned in the previous one, this is a pretty ugly looking chart, but there can be opportunity in the ugly. And in this situation with this pullback, couple different dynamics going on. So I want to get that trend line into play right there. And then this trend line also just basically is mimicking and shadowing that purple line there, which you now know is the 50-period moving average, which has already once behaved as support. So if the price were to come back down, then you'd have, again, no guarantee, but a more than plausible reason to think that another bounce could occur because you'd have both that trend line there and that 50-period moving average. Again, no guarantees. So if you're not disciplined, if you're not going to be able to, manage risk and all that, then you definitely should not be playing these sorts of situations. But from a risk-reward scenario, even if it comes down here and gives you a modest bounce relative to what was being risked, you could be looking at a nice little set of circumstances here. So if you like penny stocks and you like these opportunity in the ugly type sets of, situations, keep an eye on it. Next one, TQQQ, and a whole lot of choppiness today. Ultimately, not in a good or bad way, just, started, well, I take that back. It wasn't a good way because when you could factor in that the price at one point this morning was all the way down here, and then it was able to battle back and at least get to this area of the chart, I would consider that overall a healthy day. What I am going to do here is expand the channel here a little bit. So top of the channel, I'm now going to, call right here around 74.65, and bottom of the channel, I'm going to call right down there around 73.25. So like I said, that's pretty neutral because sure, it's good from a bullish standpoint when levels of resistance are adjusted upwards, which did happen, but it's also bad if levels of support need to be adjusted downwards, which also happened. Hence, we'll just say they cancel each other out and call it neutral. But headed into Friday, I would just call this one still neutral. Neutral with a leaning towards bullishness because this is all happening in a bullish scenario. But like I said, key area of resistance, top part of that channel, 74.65. Key area of support, bottom part of the channel, right there at 73.25. I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. As mentioned earlier, it'll be this evening, Thursday, October 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, but if you can't make it live for whatever reason, go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com. And it is a genuine live event, and I say that because there will be a Q&A session, so if you have questions, please bring them, and I'd be happy to answer them live for you. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now on the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 4 hours of time. That is because Bitcoin is open 24/7, and I want this analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible. And by using a longer time frame, it allows me to accomplish that. So yeah, things are not looking good at all, but I'm going to approach this in a way where I assume that you're watching this video 15, 20 hours from now and just walk you through some questions. So question number one right now, it's all about 59,850. Why so? Well, that's where these lows were previously. So the first question is, where's the price at relative to that level? In any way, shape, or form, if you're answering the question, the price is above that level, that's at least a decent thing. Decent meaning, let's say the price is right around here. I mean, that's still rough in the sense of, yeah, well, the overall trend is still very much down, but it's decent in the sense of, well, at least it hasn't gotten any worse. At least the downwards momentum has mellowed out, and it's at minimum a little bit of strength and going sideways. But there is some common sense that comes into this too. If you're saying, well, actually, Clay, I'm watching this and the price is now way up here, well, that would be telling you that things are better than decent. Things have actually gotten very, very good, very impressive, because that would imply that a big, strong bounce has occurred. But like I said, just based on the fact of where the price is relative to that area is going to be very revealing. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below, $59,850. Next immediate question is, okay, well, actually, I'm just going to use this line down here now and change it to green. Where's the price at relative to $58,800? And if you're saying that the price is down below there, that is not good at all, because that is telling you that this downwards momentum has picked up that much strength. How much strength? Again, common sense. If the price is right here, I mean, that's bad. Don't get me wrong. But if the price is way down there, then that's even worse. But as of right now, it's all revolving around this area right here, which, to reiterate, is these lows. So what is ultimately going to happen at these lows? Like I said, if you're watching this 15, 20 hours from now, you're going to have a much more data than I have right now, but we'll see what happens. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely get signed up for the free class, because what you're learning about can and certainly should be used within the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So like I said, it'll be this evening, Thursday, October 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And if you can't make it live, go ahead and send me an email to clay@claytrader.com. But if you can, then sign up and I'll see you here in just a few hours. So if you like these top 10 videos, as always, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. And if you have a request or just want to leave a comment, I read and will reply to all those. So leave a comment down below. So thanks for watching. Go get signed up for the free class.